It's a Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Fodringer, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box, a Doffin, he can hit them, and he does. A Doffin! Has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello everybody, welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you for being with us. We have one more away game, one final away game to talk about before this wretched season gets, well, then one more step away from being done. We've got Bristol City to preview. We'll talk about all the news, Rotherham United news to pick up on over the last 12 hours or so as we're recording. So we'll pick all that up and then look ahead, I said, to last away game of the season. Mick, how are you doing?
I'm all very well, thank you very much. You?
Yeah, you were whinging about being, ill and, this cold's going to take you, isn't it?
Bit of a sore throat, that's all, mate. I'll be fine, don't worry.
Fair enough. Well, let's hope you at least make the hour.
I'm sure I will.
Danny's back. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm doing good, lads. How are we all?
Very, very good. No headphones today, Danny. What's happened there?
Well, I was trying to get my microphone to work and it's decided not to, so I'm going bare without the headphones tonight, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Yep.
Enjoy is back. How you doing, Joy?
I'm very well, apart from this terrible Baltic weather for the end of April. It's disgusting.
It absolutely is, yeah. The last couple of games of the season should be in like t-shirt weather. And it's just not happening this year. Anyway, let's hope the Cardiff game we get a bit of sun for the last one. That'd be nice. What?
Won't rain for Cardiff game.
Oh yeah, we do want rain. Yeah, we do
Torrents
actually. Good shout.
of rain.
Yeah. We'll do that. John, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, we didn't have you on last week. Couldn't fit you in last week for the Steve Evans announcement. I just when you're talking. Obviously, it's been here a week now. How did you feel about the appointment? How do you feel about the performance last week? Where are you sitting with Rotherham United and Steve Evans at the minute?
I was very much on the fence, like Danny. I can't say I was overly joyed to see him back because I'm one of these people that think she shouldn't go back. But if it works out, I'm quite happy to eat humble pie in the, slices, as many as I can. I'm quite happy to do that. I don't have a problem with that. I just hope the big man's got it in himself to, pull it all together again, like he did previously. He's got a hard act to follow up from his previous tenure. Yeah. And I would argue that the situation he's inherited this time is far worse than he inherited when he came in 2012, because we were in League Two. We just ditched Andy Scott. We'd got the nucleus of the squad that he went forward with. 86 signings, however many it was later. We got the double promotion and he got his season plus a little bit in the championship. So he was a success, and I'm hoping he can replicate that. Plenty of time to slip between cup and lip, as they say. So I remain on the fence. I thought it was an improved performance last week. That's all you could say. It looked like the lads were putting the effort in, shall we say, that we've not seen recently, whether that is input or them trying to put themselves in the marketplace, either to stay with Rotherham or in the wider window for shopping. Who knows? And I'm interested to see that at least Steve has started some moving and shaking this week, which I'm assuming we'll be talking about later. So wait and see for me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. Let's touch on obviously that Sid Barraclough, who obviously had the medical urgency. The news coming out of everything I've seen seems on the right road. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touching everything we can find that road continues. And Sid gets back to full health as soon as possible. Goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway, that the thoughts of us and every Rotherham fan and every football fan is with Sid and his family at the minute. And Steve Evans put it perfectly earlier in his presser, as you'd expect. Steve Evans is an absolute wonder at that kind of thing. He knows exactly what to say and how to say it, and I think I thought he said it perfectly. So, yeah, thoughts and everything continue with Sid and his family. Joey alluded to the movement there, mate. Might as well start there because it's difficult getting to preview, bottom of the league against the team that's the middlest of the middle in 12th place, Bristol City. So let's start with sort of summer news. 2 contracts have already been extended in Hakeem Odoffin and Ollie Rathbone. It's not really news, is it, Mick? It is because we've taken the contract up, but it's, water's wet when we extended their contracts, just what you expect.
I suppose it is. I don't, and I'm can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't think we'd have had this news had Liam Richardson still been here.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'd have had this news had Matt Taylor still been here. They would have played their cards much closer to the chest. Whereas Steve Evans has decided he's going to get that done sorted as quickly as possible, and it's the right decision. The right decision will be to offer him new contracts. That may well come, but it gives them some security. But what it does do is it gets the fans more on side, doesn't it? Because you've got 2 players there who are pivotal to the way that we play, really, and quality, and certainly quality at League One level. They should be playing higher than that. So, it's all positive in that respect. I'm pleased to see it, really pleased. But like you said, it's not a massive surprise either, is it?
Not really. Okay. No. Paramount, is this positivity on Steve Evans from Mick? Sure, not twice in a row. Mick's turned the corner. I'm telling you now.
I am.
It's spreading. That's what it is.
We'll see. Denny, it's what we kind of expected. It protects the club, though, because it's one of those things Steve Evans talked about, that when they get back into pre-season, the talks will kind of start again, because it's been a long season for Rathbone and Hacks because we're losing every week, as Evans mentioned. But it protects the club. So let's say those 2 don't want to sign new contracts. That's fine. We can then try and sell them in the summer to get a bit of money for them, and then reinvest it in the club. Or if they do want to stay for longer, fantastic, and they sign the next couple of years on top of that. It just sort of ticks every single box. It would have been madness had they not taken either option, I suppose, wouldn't it? Absolute madness.
Yeah, I suppose it's credit to the club a little bit for actually inserting the year extension clause into their contracts.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign that we're actually learning from past mistakes with some players as well. But we'll take that with a pinch of salt just for the time being. But yeah, like you say, it protects the club a little bit, because if Ollie or Hacks or both don't want to sign a new contract, I think Evans is a sort of manager to respect the decision and then cash in. I think, because both are quality players. And he said that he's played against Rathbone before and he's been an absolute nightmare. So he might be a player that he tries to keep a hold of as well, maybe offering a bit more than previous managers would have. But the main thing is protecting the club, because if they decide not to stay, then we can cash in and get a little bit of monetary value for him. But at the same time, it's also protected them a little bit as well, because they're not frantically looking for somewhere else, knowing that the contract's up in the summer. They've still got a year just to have a bit more security, and so they can seriously consider their options when Rotherham put the contract in front of them, which Evans did allude to, like you say, Matt, in his presser before Bristol City. And I think it's quite a bold strategy to put that on the table this soon, obviously the year extension, I think we all knew we were going to take it up with them too, weren't we? We were never not going to take it up. But for Evans to come out and say, we're going to go at it again in the summer and get them better deals, it's like you say, previous managers, they wouldn't have said anything, they'd have kept it quiet. But it feels like the can's been kicked down the road with Ollie for the past couple of seasons about a new contract. Yeah. So for Evans to put his cards on the table and go, yeah, we're going to speak to him again in the summer. It's not just putting a few fans at ease and appeasing the fans a little bit, but it's also showing the initiative that he wants to attack League One with Championship level players. I think the only player he's going to really struggle with is Victor, because I think we're all, I mean, even mentioned in his presser, we're all reserved to the fact now that Victor's going to go. But Evans was weirdly quiet about it, which isn't like...
That's how you know he can't get him to stay, because he's quiet about it. If there were a chance that Evans could thinks he could convince him, he'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
Yeah, and he weirdly shifted it to Dylan Phillips, which, you know, he says it's a good keeper in his own right, but it's like, maybe the magic hasn't quite been sprinkled on Victor yet. Anyway.
I love your positivity. I love that you still think there's a chance.
There's always a chance. It's near zero, but it's not absolute zero.
It's absolute zero. Unless he gets injured, it lets him make a couple of games and he can't sign for something because he's injured.
Nothing's never zero. It's only near zero.
Zero. I'm going to the comments. David Lawton's with us, Paramount, Steve Grundy, Mark Connell, Sarah Ogden, Graham Lindley, Fjord, Paul, Mark, Nathan Crouch. I've missed some names out, sorry. And I said somebody's wrong, so sorry. Let's talk about the players individually, Joy. So, Ollie Rathbone, when we first signed him, Mick watched the highlights. Like Mick referenced him as kind of a Frex type player, which is bang up Steve Evans' road. Steve Evans signed Lee Freckland for Rotherham United. He feels like if you designed a midfielder for Steve Evans, other than being a bit taller, Ollie Rathbone's kind of what you want, what Steve Evans, I think, would want in a midfielder. So I think if he can convince him to stay longer, I think he'll be play a crucial role in whatever happens in the Steve Evans era.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, taking the extra years out on both players is a no-brainer, isn't it, for the club? I think the only upside for Ollie is, in the terms of this season, I would say it's probably been his worst season while he's been with us. I mean, injury, lack of form, or whatever the reason, the management, who knows? He's not covered himself with glory, though he did play well on Saturday. I thought it was a little bit more like his usual self. But it would be interesting to see if what they are likely to put on the table, you know, what Tony has done in terms of loosening the purse strings, in terms of what can be offered, because this time last year we were all considering that Ollie might be leaving us, weren't we? Because there were other teams that were sniffing around him. I wonder if they will be this year, given the season that he's had. I don't know. And the fact that he's a year older. How old is he, by the way? Is he in mid-20s?
I think mid-20s, but I'll double check now.
Yeah.
He's 26-ish, I think.
Yeah. So he's coming into his prime, I would suggest, just, you know, about
27,
now.
28 in October.
Oh, so he's older than what we think then. So he should be hitting his straps big time now. So whether he feels that he needs to be moving on and upwards away from us because of his age, I don't know. Depends what opportunities there's out there for him and the caliber of his agent, I would imagine, as to what he can find for him if he doesn't decide to stay with us. I mean, the key thing is we've done this for the last 2 or 3 seasons, haven't we, with the year extensions for like Ogbene, etc., Victor as well before he signed again. So it doesn't always follow that come this time next year they're going to be our players. We might be bidding them farewell with no recompense. But that's the risk that the club have to take, I think, going forward. So the only other thing is, I agree, I think Steve is a little bit more pragmatic, shall we say. And if they aren't willing to sign a new contract either in the autumn or before the January window, it's likely that, dependent on the circumstances that we find ourselves in, that we could be bidding 1 or 2 people farewell. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's a manager, isn't he? He's not a director of football, which we've had or not had for the last 12, 18 months. It's a bit of a moot point. What role did our Warney have in recruitment, etc.? We know that Steve wants to be in charge.
Yeah.
If Matt froze,
Looks like it.
it looks like Matt's internet's frozen. It's died.
Earth to Matthew.
It's quite angelic, doesn't it?
It does rather, yeah. Well, that
Deceiving,
puts us
isn't
in a
it?
bit of a sticky situation, doesn't it? Because nobody knows what to ask now. Are you back,
Well,
Matthew? No, it's not.
No.
we're talking about ourselves.
I'll say, whilst Matt's trying to sort out his internet, are you still able to press buttons at all?
Yes, I can press all the buttons, mate.
Oh, good. Do you want to bring up Scott Kent's comment about Evans wanting to see Dylan Phillips in action? And he says about starting him at Bristol. Do you think that's a viable thing, or do you think leave it until pre-season?
It depends how keen he is on seeing him play, isn't it? Ultimately, it just seemed a bit strange, given the fact that Victor's going to be leaving. I'd hate to think that he'd take Victor out for the last game of the season, the last home game of the season, just to see Phillips start again. That would not be right in my view. But can either of you see Dylan Phillips being number one keeper next season? I can't personally. I would have thought it's going to be somewhere in the summer that he's going to look to strengthen.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, he's back.
I'm back for now. So we'll see what happens.
I'll say, have you hit your internet with your stick and it's working again?
Well, it doesn't help that they've got 4 people in the house all using the tablets and things at the same time. Never a good idea. So not recommended. What did I miss, guys? Anything interesting?
I was just talking about Scott's comment about Steve Evans wanting to see Dylan Phillips in action. So Steve's of the view he's going to start at Bristol and Victor gets the last home game. I would hope that if he is, we're just saying it, if that does happen, I prefer him to start Saturday, not against Cardiff.
Not against Cardiff.
No, I don't. We need Victor back for the Cardiff game.
Sorry, yeah.
We don't want Phillips starting in that last home game of the season. I think that'd be really unfair.
What was the benefit? I mentioned that. I don't understand the benefit. For a goalkeeper is different than an outfield player. When you play 90 minutes, you're actually seeing less of the goalkeeper than you do in training. So I don't really get the benefit of giving Phillips minutes. He knows how good a goalkeeper he is already.
Yeah.
I don't really see the benefit of that. I don't know if anybody else does.
And, pre-season's not too far round the corner. It'll start in July. So for me personally, I'd keep Victor as starting keeper for the rest of this season. See what happens in the summer. But okay, when Victor goes, there you go, I'll capitulate. When Victor goes, I'd put Phillips in as starting keeper in pre-season, and if Evans decides to strengthen, whether it's with a new starting keeper or he wants to push forward with Phillips as number one keeper and bring in another backup, that would be the perfect time to do it. I think doing it at the end of this season wouldn't be beneficial to the fans more than anything else. And Evans has shown that he's very much fan orientated with certain things. So I'd give it Victor. You can have the last away day send off for Victor, and the big finale at on the 4th of May with the last home game.
Yeah, I don't know. See what Evans decides, but we'll have to wait and see with that.
It'll be a black mark against his name if Victor doesn't start that final game at New York Stadium this season.
Yeah, it will. Should we talk about now? Should we get the wheels in motion about telling everybody we're going to all dress in yellow and have Viking hats for the Cardiff game, or what? What's that mean?
I will dig my Sweden shirt out the cupboard for it.
You've got a Sweden flag, Danny. Am I right saying you bought a Sweden flag?
I might do. I will have a look. It's either somewhere in the cupboard or my ex has got it.
Okay.
I hope it's in my cupboard.
Varying degrees of difficulty to get it back from those two. But we'll see what happens with that.
One's got a possibility, the other's got no chance.
Well, let's move on from that quickly. If you haven't got a Sweden flag, I think they're about £5 from Amazon. Buy a Sweden's flag. If you get the Viking, I haven't seen any Viking helmets. We'll see what they are. Although I might let you in with a pointy thing. I don't know. Let's give him a send off because it's the least he deserves, isn't it?
We'll give him a send off, and then the following day it'll be announced that he signed a new contract.
Well, we'll call it an appreciation day. Then, rather than a send off, we'll call it Victor Janssen Appreciation Day. is what I think we should refer to it as. So we'll plug in that over the next 2 or 3 episodes to remind you all to go and purchase your flags. Mick, have you got a yellow Sweden shirt that fits, or is it still that ridiculously tight one?
It's going to have to be my Hammarby shirt, I'm afraid.
It's not really yellow.
No, correct. It's not. It's green, as you can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen. There's no way I'm going to lose sufficient weight between now and the last game of the season to get anywhere near that Sweden shirt. So that ain't happening.
I've got a Sweden flag you can wear as a cape. You can do that.
I've got a flag. It's just got those words written on it.
Was it? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Not by me.
No, I'm sure. So yeah, everybody should get that done. Joe, we mentioned a minute ago about the news about Hacks and Ollie. It feels like Evans is more. Well, we know Steve Evans is more open and honest about any. Well, he's more open. He talks more than Lee Richards and Matt Taylor did. Do you prefer that style of giving us information about injuries, for example? You know, Cafu's out for Saturday and things like that. I don't feel like Liam Richards would have told us that kind of information because he keeps his cards close to his chest. Do you prefer it kind of this way in the pre-match presser where Evans is a bit more gives us information?
I think at this point in the season and in our position, it's a bit of a moot point, to be brutally honest. But I think it depends on where you are as a club and where you stand in the season, in the context. I would imagine Steve would be less willing to share squad information if he was playing atop of the league match against a rival, to say whom was available and whom wasn't, because obviously that is sharing information that may be beneficial to another team. So I think obviously starting is putting all the right pieces in all the right place in the jigsaw at the moment, including sending Mr. Wyke packing as well. And I think no one would disagree with that outcome, to be brutally honest. So, you know, he's started off in the right way, in the right manner. He's got the fans on side. He's doing all the right things, and that's fine by me. It's how we are, say, come October, November, where we are in the league, what sort of squad we've got, how we're performing, etc., and how information is being shared at that point in time. That's when it becomes relevant, I would suggest, going forward. But I quite like people sharing information. But then again, you get some people who would have a totally different point of view, saying, you know, there's no point in sharing all the information. But I personally quite find it enlightening. And it's made a change from what it's been like for the last 18 months.
Yeah, absolutely. On Charlie Wyke. So Steve Evans said that the quote is that Charlie Wyke's got a little problem with his ankle that would rule him out beyond next Saturday. That's what Steve Evans reported to the advertiser. Now, Sean Maloney was told that Charlie was going to see a specialist he had seen before when he was here. Sean Maloney was told that he was going to see the specialist and go back to Rotherham in the morning. So there's different bits of information there. So I don't know, Mick. Do you say, he's injured, and because Steve says he's injured, or is this an excuse for Evans to essentially get an ally of Liam Richardson out of the door? And that's essentially what he's doing here. Johnny White was signed for Liam Richardson, and it's difficult. It is difficult for a new manager to kind of potentially imprint their impression if you've got a soldier of the ex-manager there. Do you think that's more likely, or do you think he is actually injured?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the fact that he's an ally of Liam Richardson. I don't think that would bother Evans in the slightest. I think it's just that he's just not been effective at all. And I would assume if he's carrying an injury, that might well be why.
Yeah.
But then it begs the question of why have we been playing him? Why is he here? Why have we got him on loan if he's carrying an injury? So unless it's obviously happened in the last couple of weeks, I don't think he's a hard-working enough player to play under Steve Evans. Okay. It's certainly not from what we've seen of him. I might be doing him a disservice, but from what we've seen of him, you know, he's not been effective at all, has he? Apart from the goal against Millwall, which, you know, he did well to guide into the net, to be fair, as it happened. But it doesn't strike me as being Evans' kind of player. So I suspect that might just be a code for his. He might, even if he does come back from specialist tomorrow, he'll be walking out of the door come the end of the season. So we'll see. But I can't see him being here next year.
No, I'd be amazed. He is out of contract at Wigan in the summer, so he is available. If Richardson was still here, I think we'd have seen him re-sign, but I can't see. I think you're right. Pat Power says Wyke is Liam Richardson's Paddy Kenny, which is could be. Michael Connell says Wyke came to Rotherham to help Liam Richardson out, and Liam Richardson's gone. Just sum it up, Danny. I wouldn't necessarily sign with promise. We knew what Charlie Wyke is. I think he's a League One striker. But he was one of the few players that was willing to come to this club in the situation it was in. So he deserves a bit of credit to sort of say that he provided a service. We can argue, sit and argue out whether they were good enough or not. He was happy to come and play the games for this club, which should be respected. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him for looking at the dire straits Rotherham was in and just going, yeah, I'll be a part of that, even if it was just to help Liam Richardson out. He still came here off his own back and wanted to play, which is quite admirable in my opinion. I'll play devil's advocate with the injury thing, like with Sean Maloney. He said he was under the impression he'd go to the specialist and then go back to Rotherham the next day. Maybe his ankle injury was worse than they first suspected, and they've gone, yeah, you're not going to play. You're going to need a bit of surgery to tidy it up, like Evans said. But anyway, we'll leave that there. But I think with Charlie Wyke, he just came in and just wasn't effective enough. He wasn't the quick fix that we hoped that he was going to be. And I think that's why he got a lot of stick for it, because we thought he'd come in and, actually give it a good go and score a couple, but he only ended up getting one. And didn't, like I said, he sort of joined in with the rest of the pack. He didn't really look arsed at times. But I also don't, it was a little bit more of a Hugel earlier in the season. We didn't play to his strengths either. But he's one of those players where it's like, thanks for all the help. And thanks for actually giving to about going to help out Liam Richardson, because a lot of players didn't. Even as Richardson said in the past, he tried to sign a lot of players and they just went, no, we're not signing for Rotherham in that state. But Charlie Wyke said he wanted to. And so that's why I have a lot of respect for him. And that's why I'm quite disappointed he didn't do well, because I think he sort of deserved it. He had the right attitude, just the wrong application, I think. Yeah. Whereas a lot of players have had the wrong attitude, but an even worse application.
Yeah, true. Nathan Crabtree says Evans referred to him as Big Chaz, so I don't think he dislikes him. Probably is really injured. Absolutely, that is the most obvious thing. Is probably the reason. But they don't make podcasts out to talk about obvious things all the time, do they? So we've got to fill time somehow. Phil says I think it was for his own ends, trying to get game time for next season. He were getting minutes at Wigan, to be fair. I mean, he weren't starting us, but he were getting minutes. That first, I think, was it the first game or second game against Hull? Him and Nombe together looked decent for 45 minutes. Kind of thought they were going to build up a bit of a relationship, but it never continued, did it? I think they started again the Saturday after, and it just went downhill from there, really. Which is a shame, but it is what it is. It's football, isn't it? Danny, I'm going to come to you. Let's mention the news that's come out today from the club with the women's game. Rotherham United women are playing Sheffield Wednesday women at New York Stadium. Give me the date, Danny.
12th of May, 6 o'clock kickoff at New York Stadium. So it's the Her Game 2 Shield, which was played for the first time last May against Mansfield women, and Rotherham won on penalties. And it was a fairly decent crowd as well. I think it was just over 1,000. I think it was closer to 1,500 that watched it, which is really good for the women's team. Rotherham United women are defending it on May 12th. I believe Sheffield Wednesday are the division above Rotherham, so it's going to be a bit more of a tougher test. But yeah, tickets are £5 for adults, £2 for kids. Get your hands down and support the lasses playing Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes, let's get some sort. At least one Rotherham team should be winning games at New York.
Yeah. Can we have at least one Rotherham team beat a Sheffield Wednesday team this season, please?
Yeah, That'd be good.
Very nice.
Very good. Right, let's move forward to Bristol City, Joy. It's the deadest of dead rubbers, isn't it? We're rock bottom. They're as middle as you can possibly be. But then at the same time, is this a chance for Steve Evans to make a bit of an impression? Because he wants to finish on maybe not necessarily high, but he wants the players to show something. He wants to give, Evans is like, he maybe wants to give the fans something. So if Bristol City are on the beach, this is an opportunity to finally get that away win potentially.
I agree. I was thinking this is a bit of a meh tie, innit? And I quite like going to Bristol. It's one of my favourite places to go, to be honest. But we've still got something to play for. We might actually get something if we win away. If we get before the end of the season and we win an away game, Steve will get the plaudits for that.
Yeah.
So I suspect that's what he might be focusing on going forward. Who knows? But I mean, they've not had some bad results recently against the top six. They've more than held their own, and I think they would probably be seeing this as a way to sort of look at their squad for next season and pushing on for the playoffs themselves next season. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game for us. I don't think they're likely to be on the beach. Let's be honest, not many professionals should be on the beach for any game, whatever time of season it is. So I think we're in for a tough time at Bristol, to be honest.
Yeah, this house is at 12th. They were in a bit of a transition period. They brought Liam Manning in, who was MK Dons. You remember from the league season we got promoted from League One. Liam Manning was the MK Dons manager. Went to Oxford, did very, very well. Jumped ship to Bristol City because it's obviously a big opportunity. Haven't watched much of them since he came in, Mick. But Liam Manning team at MK Dons was very, very pass out from the back. It was Russ Martin-esque.
Yeah, it was.
Which plays into a Paul Warne, Steve Evans type setup.
Yeah.
Because if you can get John Hugo running, if you can get Sam Nombe running, that's instantly going to put pressure on those teams. And we've been saying this for I don't know how long. These are the teams you've got to go after, and I think we will. I really do think we will.
I think we will, without a doubt. And don't forget, I keep saying this about Bristol City, they beat us every time we play them, and they are one of the worst teams we've played whenever we've been in Championship. Every time, without fail, the game is dreadful. It's awful, but yeah, they still managed to come out with the spoils. So yeah, I mean, like you said, Liam Manning, Russell Martin. Has anybody ever seen them in the same room together? It's that kind of vibe, isn't it? And we know, and I keep saying it. No, there is no team in this division that's good enough to continually play that way. Possibly with the exception of Leicester this season, who've been pretty decent at it. Southampton have failed resoundingly, a resounding fail, which we knew because of the manager. It was going to happen, weren't it? Hopefully the same happens at Bristol City, and particularly now if they're, he's obviously relatively new in post. Now might be a good time to play him. Like you say, it's a dead rubber. Some of the players, whilst they shouldn't be actually on the beach, some of them I'll have half an eye on that. They'll be considering spray tan and having their teeth whitened before they disappear off to wherever it is they go to. So yeah, I mean, I can see us getting a win on Saturday. I genuinely can. Just to make me look even more stupid than I've made myself look. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we did. But yeah, I think we've a chance. We've absolutely got a chance.
We answered that many times this season.
We answered it. Well, we said it a couple of times, haven't we?
Start when we were naive and stupid.
And then, when Liam Richardson came in, we went away to Blackburn and we got that 2-2 draw, and we felt, we were organised. We if we can push on from here, maybe we can. And then it just went downhill again. This is going to be slightly different, isn't it, for the foreseeable future? Yeah,
it is. Danny, would it be the most Steve Evans thing ever to come in on his first away game, win for the first time in 600 days, whatever it's been?
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I know we mentioned earlier about wearing Viking hats for Victor's potential last game, but I'll put this on the table. If we beat Bristol City, I'll wear a sombrero to the last game of the season.
I thought you'd already done this. I thought you just put this back on.
Oh yeah, I'm
redoing
reaffirming it. Now it's the Bristol City preview. If we do it, then I will wear the sombrero.
I'll be honest, Danny, it has less effect seeing as 2,000 people on Saturday were wearing sombreros. You may have to go a step up.
Yeah, fair point.
Make it interesting. You may have to. I don't know what the step up.
Point, but the important bit was I wasn't wearing the sombrero. I got given one in the post-match reaction.
So you were wearing one in the post-match?
Yeah, yeah, not off my own back though. So as someone who was a bit on the fence about Steve Evans, it's me admitting, like, yeah, fair enough, you've got a point. But it would be the most Steve Evans thing to come in first away game and then win. Obviously, the situation's a little bit more favourable because we're already down in Bristol, a safe mid-table. They're not really going to do anything in the last two games. But at the same time, it instill a little bit more confidence in the team. You know, like they are good enough. And Evans even said himself to get an away win before going into next season, even though it's the division below, it'll do everybody a world of good.
Yeah, it would. It's more for the fans' joy. To be fair, we know a lot of these players are not going to be in next season. Obviously, some will be, but this is about the fans taking a little bit of something into next season, and to be fair, a little bit of a reward for those that are still going. As you know, the weekend as well. For the ones that have been there every day, every game this season, they deserve the win. They deserve a win on Saturday to finally hang the hat onto something. And I do feel like we've got more chance under Evans than we did under either of the last two managers.
Absolutely, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a fun day out, I would imagine, for those that are going, because I would hope that they are expecting the way that we're talking, that we might actually get something from the game. Whether we will or not is a different matter, because if you remember this time last season, we needed to get something from the game, and it was virtually the same weekend.
It was
last weekend. And we lost 2-1, didn't we? But I don't know, I was there. But we've got nothing to play for. So sometimes when you have that freedom and nothing's expected of you, that's when you pull a rabbit out of the hat. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. And it would be so cool for those travelling fans to get that win this season. It's nothing worse, is there? I mean, we did it the last time, didn't we, when we went a season without a win in this division. I mean, at least we won a couple last year in the division, but not since November. I mean, that's a long time. It's 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost count how many games it is. We've got to be nearing 40 a win. It's that we're getting that way out, aren't we? In terms of away game, which is just completely mind blowing. That you're getting nearly 40 away games consecutively without a win is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The laws of averages tell you that you should win some of those, but no, not for Rotherham United. We saw last week, Mick, that I think we talked about it being kind of simple, that Steve Evans just kind of took the reins off the players, and it was a much better performance. It was nowhere near perfect, but it was a significantly better performance. Do you expect it's an away performance? So what you tend to see away performance is much more compact and difficult to beat, and blah blah blah. But I can't see us doing that, to be honest with you. I think Evans will maybe try and treat this as if it was a home game and be proactive in that sense. Because what does he gain from being not negative but more solid? I don't know what he gained from that.
He doesn't, and this part of Steve Evans' tenure is all about building up that reputation, isn't it, for him? You know, it's about cementing the reputation that he's got of being, you know, he's sort of in-your-face kind of manager. However, somebody that can motivate the fans and motivate the town, motivate the club. You know, you hear him the way he speaks. So he's got nothing whatsoever to lose on Saturday. Sorry, just go out there and play your game as if you're at home. If you lose 5-0, it matters absolutely not. Nothing will happen. However, if you go away and get that extra win, there's massive brownie points there, huge brownie points, because you know it's second game in charge, and lo and behold, I've got an away win after 18 months. That's how you do it, and it cements his reputation amongst amongst some of the fans, which I get, and hopefully, God, I hope he manages it. I genuinely do. So yeah, I can see us playing with the reins off for that reason. You know, we've got no to lose. We've not had no to lose for 6 or 8 weeks, but
on that,
you know, it would appear that the manager felt he got his job to lose for the last 6 to 8 weeks, and lo and behold, he lost his job because we weren't getting any results or any uplift in performances. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see an uplift in the performance tomorrow in comparison to the other away games, and probably. Sorry, I keep saying tomorrow, don't I? It's on Saturday. Yeah, we'll see. But I think he'll go for it. I think he'll absolutely go for it.
The issue is, Danny, that his injuries are rearing their ugly head again. Kyoso and Cafu came off injured. Steve Evans talked about both of those being out injured. If nobody else is back, i.e. Sam Klukas, you're talking 4 and 5 people on the bench, one of them being a goalkeeper, one of them being Hatton, who's obviously made it one senior appearance for about 4 minutes. So we normally go, well, he could play him here, him there. It's going to be who's available, because we're down to serious bare bones, and well, Steve Evans won't be happy about that, will he, obviously?
No, story of our season, isn't it? But yeah, and there's the chance that Klukas isn't going to be available either. It might be a little bit too soon for him. I don't know what's happening with Lindsay. He might be injured as well.
He weren't mentioned today, were it? All it presses.
No, which is both interesting and concerning at the same time. So it might be Rathbone and a Doffin in midfield, and do with that as you will. Because off the top of my head, it'd be probably Humphreys and Peltier in some regard at the back. Bramall coming in, maybe Revan on the right-hand side.
Sariki.
Yeah, Sariki potentially. Depends on who he wants to play on the right side of midfield, to be fair. You'd have to play Appiah on the left-hand side further forward, I think. And then Nombe and Hugel up top. But that is still bare bones. Like, there's very little wiggle room with substitutes, like you say. We could have 5 subs, one being a goalkeeper, and there's no possibility of making the 5 subs in the game at all.
Just stick him up top.
Yeah, I mean,
stick Victor up top.
Yeah.
Imagine if we're 3-0 down, it's like, Victor, just go and play up top for a bit.
He bangs one in.
Yeah, imagine.
Imagine scenes.
But that sounds it. The club will be taking applications for players before Bristol game. There's that little to do. And like I say, Evans won't be happy about it. But then it's something for him to work on before next season, having a deeper squad, and to focus on fitness and avoid injuries. But it all plays into the thing if it's the most Steve Evans thing. If all of these things stacked against us, we go and beat Bristol City.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I don't think it'll happen, but just imagine.
Yeah. Shane Ferguson, somebody else. He went on bench last week. Not his name mentioned. He'd be a really useful player to have available this week. And if you can get Fergie playing and then Appiah playing as well, you can go. I know it's basic, but you go a straight 4-4-2 and see what happens. Could you see? I mentioned all that, Joy. Could you see any? Obviously, if Kyoso's out, do you want to see Revan? Revan was good at right back, but you've got a ready-made right back there in Sariki. What would you want to see in that from that point of view?
It's a shame we haven't got a right back of our own, isn't it? That we have to play lone players, and that's looking forward to the future, isn't it? I think out of the two of them, I'd prefer to see Revan, because I think he's had more game time. He's grown into that, and he seems to enjoy being here as well.
I agree.
Perhaps I'm just imagining that, but I think he just enjoys being here. And I think for all it's been a negative season and not a lot to smile about, I think he's actually been one of the positives, to be honest, for me, Revan. And he has got better as the season has gone on. You can't say that about many of them, but you can possibly with Revan. So I'd definitely go with Revan in the right back. And like you said, there are names that are not being mentioned at all. Lindsay, Ferguson, Blackett. You know, they're all guys that are on, but they're all out of contract. Is Lindsay out of contract?
Yes, Lindsay is out of contract. I'm not sure there's an option on Lindsay. By the sounds of it, there isn't, but
Yeah, otherwise he might have been in the list today. So that might be bye Jamie. I don't know, which is a shame because he's been a good servant, and when he has been fit, he has put the yards in for the team, and he's been a couple of seasons ago. He's the best player in that COVID Championship season, and was good in the League One season as well. 22 season when he came in. So it'd be sad to see Jamie go if he is on his way. So I think it's who's not been mentioned that's interesting rather than who has been mentioned.
I agree. Martin Holland asks, why can't we have more youth players on the bench? Can, yeah. It's when it may decide to put Ayres on the bench, who's been mentioned a couple of times. But it seems a bit pointless to drag down 5 youth players to Bristol if you're not going to play them. If you're going to play them, that's fine, but I think it just feels a bit of a waste.
Does it have to be youth players that aren't under professional contracts?
No, I think they can just pop, just whoever's in the contracts to the club. I think they can just come.
We could chuck. So who's out on loan places? And that is DeRose and
DeRose will come back, hasn't he?
Has he?
It was at Scarborough. I thought he'd come back. I might be wrong.
Well, if he has come back, you could throw in him. And now McGuckin's still out on loan.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
We pulled Holdy back, which now seems strange. We pulled Holdy back, but he's not featured for us in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if he's injured or not. Nathan Curry said they're probably injured for the season, so not been mentioned. But yeah, you might be probably right, Nathan. But yeah, I would have expected. Maybe the person didn't ask the question, maybe. So, but it's not like Steve Evans to keep that kind of information close to his chest, is it? He would normally tell us that. So I don't know. We just don't know is the answer. Let's look at the bigger picture. Scott Kent says, question lads at Huddersfield joining us this weekend. It's the clash of 2 of the worst teams we've seen at New York Stadium this weekend, Huddersfield and Birmingham, with the loser probably, getting their luggage ready for League One, Mick. Who's coming down with us? The picture's quite tight. Sheffield Wednesday found himself out of the relegation zone thanks to the Blackburn goalkeeper last weekend. Who are you fancying?
Huddersfield will come down. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that Huddersfield will come down. It's really tough between the Birmingham Wednesday. It's looking like it's going to be one of those two, isn't it?
Really? Plymouth are 2 points ahead of Birmingham.
Yeah. I'd prefer it to be Plymouth, to be honest. Plymouth and Huddersfield would be my ideal scenario. Keep Piggies up there and let Sheffield United have a couple of seasons with them. But then sort them out. Birmingham, I think, come next season, if the investment that we're told they're going to get comes to fruition, then we definitely don't want them in League One, do we? Absolutely not. I think they'll be up the top end of the Championship next year, should they remain in there. So ideally, Huddersfield and Plymouth. I suspect it's going to be Huddersfield and Piggies. Frankly, that's probably where my money would go.
Huddersfield and Piggies is where your money would go.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Huddersfield can be relegated this weekend. If Huddersfield lose and Wednesday pick up at least a point, then they will be down. It may not even Wednesday pick up. No, it might not even. Wednesday won't even pick anything up. If Huddersfield lose, they're down. Because Birmingham will then be more than 3 points ahead of them. So Huddersfield need at least a draw. But even a draw might not be enough if Wednesday win and Plymouth win.
I think the only reason Huddersfield don't go down is if Wednesday loses. I think if Wednesday loses, then they're just dangling on a string, aren't they?
Yeah. Realistically, Huddersfield need to win 2 games between now, and they've got Birmingham at home, and the final game is Ipswich away. And I don't fancy them picking up 6 points. It's just at the very best, you're getting 4 points from that, aren't you? At the very best. Which that still might not be enough. League One finishes this weekend as well, so we'll get confirmed who is with us, who's not with us, who's in the playoffs. Same with League Two as well. That finishes at 3:00. It's a staggered. I think League One is at 12:30, and then League Two at 3:00 kickoff. Joey, who do you think is going to drop from the champ? Who's joining Rotherham United in the League One next year from the Championship to start with?
I think after their battering at the weekend, it's definitely the Terriers. We think we had a rough deal with Liam Richardson and Matt Taylor. I think the two guys they've had in their slots have not pulled any trees up. I mean, at one point they looked like they were pulling away, and they've just dropped like a stone again, and they're being battered, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I can't see it not being Huddersfield. And like I said, per many 2 from, or even 3 with Plymouth, but that 2 extra points I think is quite significant. I don't know whether Wednesday's goal difference is going to count against them in the long run, because they haven't got 2 particularly easy games, but they've got their tails up after the win last weekend, I would suggest, against Rovers, and I can see them maybe pulling it off. But I'm with you, Mick. I'd prefer Plymouth to come down with us because of the same reasons. But if not Plymouth, then I wouldn't want to see Birmingham down with us, because, like you said, they're supposed to be having a pot full of dosh, aren't they, chucked at them for next season. So, and you never know which Wednesday is going to turn up in League One, do you? You know, whether it's the...
No. If you mentioned Blackburn, I think Blackburn's very, very unlikely. So for Blackburn to go down, Birmingham need at least 4 points. Wednesday need at least a win, and Plymouth will need at least a win. All that happens in the next 2 games. Blackburn have got Coventry and I think Leicester on the final day. But again, it relies on at least 3 teams to all at least win one of their last 2 games, and Leicester at least at 4 points. So I think Blackburn have done just about enough, barring a miracle. But much stranger things have happened in Championship, haven't they? So yeah. And then we'll see, like I say, see what happens in League One. League One as well. Harry asks if the EFL is sticking to schedule by giving us Gavin Ward. Sadly not.
Oh, you're joking?
No, it's Charles Breakspear. He refereed the Norwich 5-0.
Oh, cool.
Again, a very, very easy game for somebody to referee. I think I could have refereed that game and had a good game. We made it very, very easy for Mr. Breakspear on that game. Who do we reckon for last game at season? If you were sitting there in PGML headquarters thinking, Rotherham United are going down, who are you giving him at last game at season? Is it Madley? Probably Madley.
Madley.
Yeah, I think. By the way, did you see? The Andy Madley who gave away the handball goal at Leeds. He was doing Merseyside derby last night.
Yeah, he did manage that. Yeah, he got that, didn't he? Yeah.
Anyway, madness to me. Charles Breakspear. Referee. I've done referee. So that's just predictions. Danny, what do we reckon? Is it finally going to be that elusive away win?
Oh, I'm going to nail my colours to mast and say yes. I think Rotherham's going to win 2-1.
2-1 to the Millers. Too dramatic. Mick, 2-1?
Yes. 2-1 Rotherham, yeah. Okay.
Joy?
Let's go for the hat-trick. 2-1.
2-1?
Yeah.
Go on, let's go full house. 2-1. Let's just... Why not? McConnell thinks it'll be 2-1 to Bristol City. Richard says 1-0 to the Millers. Nathan Crabtree says 1-2. Mine Holland and Steve Grundy says 1-0 to the Millers, as does John S. Harry RUFC says 2-0 to the Millers. This is the Steve Evans effect, isn't it? Everybody thinks you can walk on water and you can run through a brick wall. This is what he does. This is what he does to you. Let's see. We could win this game. Nothing would. If we won this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised. If we'd beat other teams than Lee Richardson, I can't believe we won that game. Wouldn't be surprised one bit if we turn Bristol City over, and Bristol City probably feel the same as well. Knowing if I were in Bristol City shoes, I'd be going, we're definitely going to lose that game to them, aren't we?
Stay away.
Anything else we need to mention tonight? I think we've covered and ticked off stuff.
Did you see in the Evans pre-game interview he said that both Kioso and Cafu were in his plans for next season?
I heard Kioso. I didn't hear the Cafu reference.
He sort of said he said to Kioso that he's in his plans, but like in the same breath mentioned Cafu was in there as well.
Well,
So it's a bit interesting. So maybe that's filling the thing of, players we didn't expect to re-sign will be, potentially.
I think about this with Evans. That remember he has this. Remember Ledesma he brought in, and Cafu's very Ledesma-like, in that he just kind of struts about and this kind of thing. And if Warnock did it with Tarat, these guys are nowhere near Tarat's level, obviously.
No.
But there's similar types of players in terms of if you can get the best out of them, they'll be monsters. And he did okay with Ledesma. I know he left before he could get a proper tune out of him, but don't know.
Who knows?
Wishful thinking. IFC says he'd love to have him. Michael Kennels, what about the Barnsley fiasco? You're sacking your manager one game before playoffs. It's perfectly normal.
I mean, that is just utter madness, isn't it? What's gone off there?
I don't know.
I mean, I know they're not the most fond of the current manager, but it's like, at least give him playoffs.
No.
You know what I mean?
If you're going to do it, you do it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, not or after the playoffs.
Has he been doing something he shouldn't do with Chairman's wife or something? 'Cause it seems something that ridiculous and that far out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's happened one game before. I mean, it makes no sense at all.
Tranmere did this a few years ago. I can't remember who they sacked, but they sacked the manager. They got into the playoffs and then sacked the manager, and then brought in a caretaker for the playoffs, which they lost.
Really?
So,
I wonder why that happened.
So, yeah, crazy. They're the anti-Donny, aren't they? Where Donny's everything Donny's touching is turned to gold, and everything Barnsley's touching.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because Barnsley are desperate to have a lot of derbies next season, because they know if they stay in League One, they'll have us, potentially Doncaster, Mansfield, maybe Sheff Wednesday, maybe Huddersfield.
Yeah.
You know,
the last time we played Barnsley in the league, League One, would have been when the Trevor Kettle game, which was 2006-ish. So it's been a long while. It's been a long while since we've been Barnsley at this level. Yeah. Anything else? I don't know. I was second about it. We'll go again. Anything else?
No, I think so.
Wonderful news. Thank you all for being with us. We shall be back on Sunday evening, which will be a review of the Bristol City game, which will hopefully be a victory. We shall wait and see. We are getting our plans together for the post-season. We're getting some people booked in for the pre-season prediction reveal, which will be a good laugh. We can laugh at each other because they are terrible, awful. So we'll get that done over the next in the week after the season. Well, that's when they'll picked up, and we'll do some sort of award show as I keep mentioning him. But we're going to do something. Who knows what else we might have lined up for the post-season? Who could possibly wonder? Anyway, thank you. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you have subscribed. You're on X. Make sure you follow us on X, and do get over and follow and subscribe on YouTube as well. If you are on iTunes and Spotify, if you're an audio listener, please make sure you've subscribed to wherever that may be as well, and give us a 5-star rating wherever it allows you to do so. Mick, you survived the hour with your man flu. We're all very, very proud of you. Congratulations.
I've coped admirably well.
You have, yeah.
This is the type of pat on the head.
This is the type of person that Steve Evans needs playing at the front for Rotherham United. So with shorter numbers on Saturday, you might give him a ring.
I'll pop down with my boots tomorrow.
Yeah. You're jumping coach. You just can't stop. If you make it look like you belong, they won't question you. You can just ride down with him.
I certainly won't be hiding in the toilet.
Moving on. Thank you. Thank you for being with us again, mate.
Yeah, no bother. Thanks for having me again.
John S. says he wants Mick talking to Steve Evans. I think to arrange a one-on-one interview with Mick, just asking Steve Evans. I could do that. I could watch that. I'll be honest.
He could interview me. I'd let him interview me. That'd be a laugh.
Fair enough. Enjoy. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Slides into Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Fodringham, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box, the Dauphin, he can hit them, and he does. The Dauphin has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship. Championship status for next season.